Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is, of course, Ian. Welcome back to my channel and to Bookin It, my weekly updates, episode 6. So, I had a really productive reading week. Let's go ahead and talk about it while I sit here in traffic. So, last week I finished, I want to say 4 books, maybe? We'll see. I can't remember how many it was exactly, but let's go ahead and talk about them. So first, we're going to go ahead and get out of the way the books that I finished for Jake and Stacy Choose My TBR Round 3. I finally finished all the books they selected for me. I finished it off by completing their last 2 books. From Jake, I had Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World by Haruki Murakami. And from Stacy, I had The Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks. I don't want to say too much about this because I do have the video where I go into all my ratings and everything coming out on Saturday, so tomorrow. But Jake and Stacy and I have already gone over it, so they already know what I rated everything and who won this final tiebreaker round. So I won't be too secretive on this. I will say I enjoyed both of these books to varying degrees. Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World was a tough start. It was a book that definitely, I had to kind of get on board with what Haruki Murakami was doing just because he's kind of a weird writer. And there were some character things, specifically the way he writes women, that were really frustrating to me. But overall, the story was wacky and a lot of fun. So we'll see what I rated that in that video. And then The Way of Shadows was really great as well. Assassin fantasy. I've read one other book by Brent Weeks, that being the first book in the Lightbringer series, and I really enjoyed that, but I enjoyed The Way of Shadows more. So I'll go into my ratings and reviews in that video coming out tomorrow, so definitely check that out when it comes out. But finally, all of the secrecy will be over. I can finally just talk about the books I'm reading without having to hide my scores and all that, which is going to be great. So excited about that. Okay, let's talk about the other stuff that I finished. Hopefully I remember everything because I've had quite the productive week. So I did also read my book club's pick for quarter 4, which was All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker, and I really enjoyed this book. I had pretty high expectations going into it. I just had a feeling it was going to be the type of book that I would enjoy. It is a lot of different things, and it very much subverts your expectations of a lot of the things that it is. So it's a mystery, kind of like serial killer thriller type book. Not really like a thriller exactly, but there's a hunt for a serial killer in this story, which definitely my expectations there were subverted. It's also a coming-of-age story. It's a love story. It's a story of a town and really a boy named Patch. And the things he goes through. And man, this book was really incredible. Like I said, it was a book that I had high expectations for, but I still just loved the journey. I think Chris Whitaker writes really compelling stories. I've read 2 of his books now, and he just has a way of finding beauty in things that are either mundane or ugly even. I think it's really wonderful, his writing and the life he brings to it. So I very much enjoyed this. I think it's a 5-star. It's a 5-star. I don't have any issues with it. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed it a lot. So we'll see if it makes my year-end list. Still got to solidify that, but it was very good. And I'm very excited to talk about it with my book club as well. A couple other things that I did finish. I started and finished Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan yesterday, and I loved this book. It's very short. The audiobook is less than 2 hours long, and it is just wonderful and subtle and kind of heartbreaking, but also hopeful. So in this we follow an Irishman in the 1980s as he is taking care of his family. He kind of had a rough childhood in that his mother died young, and was kind of shunned by her community because of the fact that she had a child out of marriage, and he never knew who his father was. And that upbringing kind of impacts the way that he sees the world and the empathy he has for others, because he knows that the kindness that he was shown and his mother was shown from some people in those dark times was very impactful on him. So he has a lot of care for people who are shunned by society. In addition to that, there are these things called Magdalene laundries, I think, which are kind of these things run by the church, the Catholic Church there, that are like homes for kind of promiscuous women. And they are basically like prisons in some ways. And that was jarring. It was terrifying to read in some ways and heartbreaking to read. And also just the way that everyone around him kind of was just like, don't say anything, don't do anything, just keep your head down. It was really cool to see the main character kind of struggle with that throughout the whole book and where he ultimately ends up. I really, really enjoyed. This is a very short but very impactful story, and it's one that I could definitely see myself returning to and thinking about a lot. And there's a new movie that just came out with Cillian Murphy playing the main character, so I absolutely want to watch that. But I've now read 2 Claire Keegan books, this one and Foster, and between the two, I like Small Things Like These more. It just had a lot more to say, I think, and I really, really enjoyed it. So, very, very, very good. I also picked up Amulet, the first book in a graphic novel series for middle grade age people, and I really enjoyed it. It's very much a beginning, like it's a prologue to the rest of the series. In some ways it kind of like not a prologue, it's like chapter 1, it really is. It sets up where the story is kind of going and some of the stakes and some of the world building, and I loved all of the world building stuff. I thought it was super creative and I cannot wait to explore it more. It definitely felt like a sample of it, not necessarily like a whole lot of plot, more like, okay, now we're in the world, now we understand the stakes, let's get on with it. It felt like act 1, I guess, of a larger story. So I did enjoy it though. Probably like a light 4-star, because like on its own it's not like a complete story and it doesn't really feel like it, and it doesn't do a whole lot other than set up the world, but I really did enjoy the world that we got to see. Okay, so those are all of the books that I finished. So Hardboiled Wonderland and the End of the World, The Way of Shadows, All the Colors of the Dark, Amulet, and Small Things Like These. So 5 books. 5 books. I am happy with that. It is super bright, so I'm sorry if my face looks really weird. But anyway, all right, moving on. So those are the books that I finished. What am I currently reading? Not a whole lot yet. So I have kind of thrown the rest of my TBR for the month out the window. I may come back to a couple books that I was planning on reading, but at least this week, I really am in the mood for some Christmas books. So I've started off with Wishin' and Hopin', the short Christmas novel by Wally Lamb. I am in the process of reading all of his books so that I can rank them, and I decided to go ahead and include the Christmas novel, and so I am just barely getting into that, like a half hour into the audiobook, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I love Wally Lamb's writing. It's a coming-of-age story, classic Christmas type story, and I think it's really good so far. Additionally, I'm just, like I said, in the mood for a lot of Christmas stuff, so I have like 4 other Christmas books I'm thinking about. I'm gonna go ahead and put pictures of them right here, and I would love it if you guys can help me decide which ones to prioritize, because I obviously don't have a ton of time. I only want to read these over the Christmas week, so I have less than a week now to read some of them, but they're all relatively short. So help me out. Tell me if any of these are good or if you think I would enjoy them so I can pick them up. Yeah, so that's my plan for the next few days, is to read these. And then additionally, I may try to squeeze in a couple of the books that I had planned for my 10 before the end. The 2 books that are kind of like on my radar that I'd really like to read are The Grapes of Wrath, because I somehow still haven't read that, by John Steinbeck, and The Heavenly Table by Donald Ray Pollock. So I'll probably try to finish one of those before the year is over. And I also have to finish Where I'm Calling From by Raymond Carver, the short story collection that I'm currently reading. So lots of fun things on the horizon. Very excited about it. Okay, so those are all the books that I'm hoping to get to in the next week. Just to talk a little bit about channel plans for the next week. So I am planning on having 3 videos coming out in the next week or so. First up, tomorrow we do have Jake and Stacy Choose My TBR, the final round results and wrap up. Very excited about that. That's already filmed, just have to edit that. And then I also am going to do 2 other videos next week. So on Tuesday, I am planning on having a series update for all of the series that I read any of in 2025. It's not going to be, or 2024, it's not going to be like a ranking necessarily. It's going to be a tier list, but it's really just going to be updating you on, like, did I read some of it? Am I planning on reading more? Is it a soft DNF? Is it a hard DNF? Am I caught up? Those types of things. That way I can just kind of catch up with myself and catch up with you guys on the series that I've read and the ones that I'm planning on reading versus the ones I'm not going to be continuing. Which, you know, there are a lot. I started or read some of like 40 different series this year, which is insane. So definitely going to be some DNFs in there, but I did catch up on some as well. So it'll be an interesting list to go over. But that should be Tuesday. If not that, I may do my 25 in 2025 list, the books I'm most looking forward to reading. But it'll be one of those 2. And then on Thursday, I will be putting out my honorable mentions video for my 2024 reads. The plan with that is for me to do that then, and then on Tuesday, New Year's Eve, post my best books of 2024. We'll see. I may push those back a post date and have both of those be on the Tuesday and Thursday of the following week, New Year's week. We'll see. I'd like to hopefully get it out in that order, but we'll see if I need to delay for no other reason than I'm having a hard time picking what books are going to be on which list. Lots of good reads this year, lots of good reads. And I'm also hoping to hit 200 books read. As of right now, I'm at 191, so I have to try to finish 9 books in roughly a week and a half. So I can do that. That's the update for this week. Let me know what you're currently reading and if you're enjoying it. If you have gotten a 5-star in December. I love December. I always feel like I end up like squeezing in some really amazing reads, and I definitely have. I've had like 2 or 3 5-stars already this month, so it's been pretty awesome. But thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.